Hello, Foreign Language Department. This is Melinda, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I found at the SCULT Regional Conference um, on, sorry, on April 11th, 12th, and 13th. The Normal Alabama Association of Foreign Language Teachers conference joined with SCULT, which is the Southern Conference of Language Teaching, and SEALT, which I think is the Southeastern Alliance of Language Learning Technology or something. So I wanted to share some of the resources that I found at that conference with you, and then we'll post some questions on Edmodo, and that'll be our last PD session. So one of the first sites I'm going to show you, it's actfulregionalworkshop.wikispaces.com. And a guy named Paul from ACTFul talked about aligning the Common Core and foreign language standards together. And this is a handout that I've already sent to y'all before, but it was just interesting to already hear about how Common Core does focus right now on reading and writing. However, foreign language already focuses on communication. So to just hear him talk about how a lot of these standards are similar was very interesting. For example, here Common Core talks about reading, and in the ACTFul standards it already talks about how students need to demonstrate comprehension, compare, reflect, acquire information from other content areas to do cross-curricular comparisons with everything. So a lot of the conference focused on how foreign language teachers are already teaching with Common Core standards in mind, and it's already something that we've been thinking of. The keynote speaker was John D'Amato, who is famous for making the raps in the French textbook Bien Dit. And he had some very interesting words. He said that foreign language teachers are either editors or applied linguists. And so we have two approaches. We can either go for mastery or go for proficiency. And you can notice in mastery, the first thing that we teach them is grammar rules, and vocab comes second. We focus on teaching, we focus on the whole language approach, and ultimately we want them to imitate what we put in to them. Whereas with proficiency, it's more about vocabulary acquisition. It's more about them being able to make a phrase with vocabulary. The grammar is secondary. It might be incorrect, but they're still able to communicate. There's a focus on learning. There's a focus on language within the ability of their other languages. And ultimately they'll communicate, and ultimately they'll be able to choose the language themselves and be able to communicate based on words that they know. So I encourage you to do some reflection, and I'll post something on Edmodo, but think about your approach. Do you teach for mastery or proficiency? One of the other things that I wanted to share that is on the ACTFul Regional Workshop site is going for 90% plus, which is what ACTFul recommends, speaking 90% plus of the target language in the classroom. So I'll email this link to you as well. But this is from their educator magazine, The Language Educator, so I wanted to include that as well. And then the last resource from SCULT I'm going to share is the wikispaces.com that they created. So here I wanted to show you there's a tab specifically for advocacy. This was a session that was presented. I know with the foreign language standards changing in the state of Alabama in order for graduation, the Alabama Association of Foreign Language Teachers has started an advocacy program. So if you're interested in getting involved, talking with our government about, on a state level, about foreign language requirements, please let me know. I'll put you in contact with the right person. And then, so here's an advocacy, and a lot of other states have advocacy panels. AAFLT was wanting to become a member of this organization. But I'm going to go back and show you a presentation for the flipped classroom that I found. It was 3 Spanish teachers, and they all joined together to present a flipped classroom model. So there's going to be a lot in this PowerPoint, and I'm just showing it to you. But they actually had a PLC that would meet on Monday nights, and they formed a flipped classroom where students are the ones who really guide the learning. So I encourage you to look through this presentation. They have a lot of information, and they do have a block schedule where ours is a little bit less flexible. And I did learn about Cornell Notes. That's something I haven't used before. So I'll email this to you as well, but that's the flipped classroom. But it does take a lot of preparation to do flipped classroom. So just look on this Scult Wikispace and enjoy. And then the last resource I want to share with you is called Webb's Depth of Knowledge. And this is a model that the City Schools is going to take under wing to approach instruction next year. So instead of Bloom's taxonomy, we're going to do depth of knowledge. So here, it's kind of the same. Level 1 is recall, level 2 is a skill or concept we want them to perform, level 3 is strategic thinking, and level 4 is extended thinking. So here you can see synthesize, create, apply concepts. So this is just an idea of something that we're going to model our lessons on next year, but you can see a lot of this is the same as Bloom's taxonomy, it's just a little bit different. So I have included links to all these resources in the email that I sent you, and I will post questions on Edmodo, and I hope you had a great year. Send me questions or tweet me this summer. Enjoy it and have a great summer.